Welcome everybody to Intention Setting Mastermind. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I want everybody to make sure that they have their cameras on. I want to make sure everybody has a notebook and you're going to get what you put into this. We're going to set some intentions for today, not just for today, but for the next year, the next 10 years, the next 15 years, the next 20 years of our lives. Now, today I want you guys to come here with open minds, open hearts, and understand, let go of the skepticism that you might bring with you. Drop any of the ego and understand that if you've ever wanted a breakthrough, if you've ever wanted to make a real change in your life and you wonder, how is it that everybody else can do it, but I can't? The answer is that you have to understand that what you're willing to accept as real and true sometimes needs to evolve. That if our opinions don't change and we always are stuck in one way of thinking and we believe that this is true, then we'll never question it. Now, whether you've been in the program for 1 week or 1 year, sometimes we lose a little bit of that clarity on what our intentions are. And we feel like we're doing good enough and our goals shrink a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question, but before I do that, I want you all to close your eyes. Just bear with me here. Close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about the best version of you. The version of you that shows up powerfully, the version of you that when you are at your very best, you feel like you are on fire. You feel like you are in momentum. You feel like you are unstoppable. You are fucking slaying it. The version of you that always knows that you're giving it everything you have. Now, when you have that version of you, just say yes or raise your hands. I want you to imagine that every single day you show up as that version of you. Every single day, powerful, present, intentional, passionate, on fire, in momentum. If you're just joining us, do me a favor, close your eyes, not if you're driving, but stay in the moment. Passionate, on fire, in momentum, and you are crushing life. And every single day you execute with 100% intention and everything that you do. And you do that every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for the next 10 years. Where are you? Now, the game that we're going to play today is that you just met that 10-year version of you. And he's having a conversation about all the things that you've accomplished in the last 10 years because you decided to go all in. All the dreams, all the goals, all the aspirations, the health, the car, the mansion that you live in, the family that you have, the people in your life, the memories you've created, the legacy that you've left, the people that you're impacting, the loyalty that you have, the friends circle that you keep around you, the relationship that you have with your significant other. This version of you is telling you all of the things that you've accomplished because you showed up as your very best. Now go ahead and open your eyes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the next 10 minutes and you're going to take your notepads and you're going to tell me what that version of you just said about your life. So I'm going to set a timer on my end. I'll give you guys the halfway mark. Go ahead and mute yourselves. If you want to play some music in the background on your own, go for it. I'll give you the 5-minute countdown once we're at the 5-minute mark. But I want you to write down what that version of yourself told you. All right, we're going to start now. I'm going to play some music in the background for anyone that stays here. We're gonna have 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. All right, timer's up. I want each and every one of you to stop and reflect for a second and think about what you wrote. Think about if that's normally what comes up for you when you think about your future. And if it isn't, then realize what is different about today. Now, you know me. I'm all about asking you to step out of your comfort zone. I'm all about asking you to be a little bit vulnerable. And if you ain't been around before, this is kind of how we do it because there's power in vulnerability. And I'll share my story as well, but I want to ask if anyone would like to volunteer to read what they wrote down. You don't have to, but just remember there's power in vulnerability. Would anybody like to step up and share what they wrote down?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Hell yeah. Go for it, Eric.
The best version of Eric David Kuntz, 50 years. This is written as a short story, 50-year-old me talking to 40-year-old me. It was the day I quit listening to others and took back the reins of my career that I became successful. Too long I let others deter me from doing the things I knew I could do because I didn't just tell them no in the moment. I took a risk, betted on us, so I'm talking to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it paid off. I knew the struggle ahead, the long days and short nights, but I also knew that I was capable to carry such a burden. I opened the shop and hit the ground running, knowing the success of my business was dependent on me and on my work ethic.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's beautiful. Would anybody else like to share?
I'll be up for it. I wrote mine in bullet.
Andy, we're having trouble hearing you a little bit.
How about now?
Good. You're solid.
I just quickly wrote down like bullet points on what I would be like. Is that
That's perfectly fine.
uh I'd be married to the love of my life. I'd be exceeding in my work. I'd become at the top or close to the top of the GS level in the government. Uh, my son would be moved. He would have moved down to Virginia to be close to me for a little while. We have a better relationship than we have. I've got healthier relationships and found people that me dealing with my past childhood and sense of feeling abandoned. I don't. I truly felt or feel like there's people I that were in my life at that time that are special and will stick around um, as I would for them.
Mm-hmm.
I would have my master's degree. I would kick the addiction I'm dealing with and truly feeling happiness, more happiness, and consistently challenging myself and being a leader. Forgive myself for my past. Own a home with some land on it. That's what I've got.
Thank you for sharing, Andy. I really appreciate that.
Thank
Is
you.
there anyone else that would like to share?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Everybody hear me okay? Okay, I kind of did the same thing. I did a 10-year kind of bullet. So meeting myself in 10 years, I would be in an executive level of an international business, multiple author on a couple of books that I have started but yet to finish because I'm procrastinating, I guess, or just waiting until I get to a certain position to make me feel like I'm deemed worthy of writing that book. For the nonprofit, I want the nonprofit to be expanded across the U.S. and drastically changing veteran statistics. My family life, I want to kind of have that hero and legend status to my immediate family. Continue, I want to be see myself in 10 years as a world-renowned serial entrepreneur, accelerating innovation and sustainability with a focus on other social issues as well, which kind of I'm already doing with the nonprofit, but to be able to attack that front more. Um, Household name in podcasting, inspiring and influencing multiple across multiple countries and multiple generations, not just our own. As I'm 40 years old, like some of you might be a little older too, but the new generation as well. I want to be a kingdom seeker and spiritual mentor, bringing more people to Jesus. I want to, after 15 years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, finally get my black belt, which means I need to go. And financially be wealthy enough to support other projects and programs. Um, that way, I can fund other visionaries to be better versions of themselves, and then be a time traveler, kind of closing this 10-year loop, so that I'm able to see myself today and have all this stuff happen. So that was kind of what I put down. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with Brian. Thank you for sharing that with all of us, Brian. Is there anything else, anyone else that would like to share their 10-year vision of where they are at? Alex, what about you with your arms crossed over there?
Um, I really don't have one. Um,
Mm,
like I start to make one, but I always come to the same roadblock.
okay.
So Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Okay, we'll come back. Anyone else like to share? Okay, it's all right. I'm going to jump in here. I'm here today not as Coach JP, but as someone who's actually been kind of exactly where you guys are at. Thinking about the past, thinking about the future, thinking about the present. And many of us at times, we fail to create that life that we want. Not because it's impossible, but because sometimes we lose our true selves. How do we think future, right? How do we think of the future? How do we think of the future? We can have a map of thinking something physically, but how can we imagine the future? We forget who we are. And amidst all the noise and the chaos of life, it happens a lot. And that's why I'm here to remind you both, you and me, of our real identities, of the power that lies sleeping within us. It really is in there. And unless you believe it, unless you see it, unless you truly envision that for yourself, you will never be able to get there, because the things that we are ignorant to will never reveal themselves, because we are not bringing them to life. I made a life-changing commitment to myself to only engage in activities that ignite my soul. In my business, Vet Rise with the Savage Squad, I've decided to only take on things in my life that truly bring me joy in every area of it. If it doesn't align with what I am doing, I will not participate in it, and I will find a way to limit it and eventually eliminate it from my life. And in life, I engage in conversations that fuel my passion only. And when I speak, it's about topics that actually light a fire in me. Today is a reflection of that commitment. Not just for me, but for all of you, because that is what the way you have to think and the way you have to talk and the things you have to truly believe about yourself. And how can you make this truly life-changing for you? How can you make sure that today, as you leave here, this isn't just another class, another Zoom that you attend? How can you make sure that this actually impacts you? How can you make it epic for you? Well, we do what we do best, and we are present, and we try and create that vision through imagination, through creativity, through self-belief, and try and bring as much authenticity to the table as we can. It's about finding your voice, your true self, and letting it echo across the world. You see, this background of mine, what I've created, what I've done, it wasn't planned to be the way it happened. I didn't expect any of this. I thought that I was going to get out of the Marine Corps. I was going to become a cop. I was going to be able to work undercover. I was going to be able to become a sergeant, a lieutenant, a deputy chief in my department. I thought that everything was laid out for me. I thought I'd be married with the same woman that I married 8 years ago, with kids. And none of those things are true. Now, the same question that I asked you guys today was the same question that was posed to me by my coach, Ryan Mark, when I first started on this journey. And the way that my 10-year vision looks like is understanding that just because the last 10 years of my life haven't been what I thought they would be, doesn't change the fact that 10 years from now, they can't be much different. Because when you start from here, when you start from zero, when you start from the starting line, to get here, this is the progress that you make. But when you feel like you've been dealt a bad hand, when you've made bad decisions and you work your way back because you made bad series of decisions throughout your life, you can make the decision to end up here, or you can make all that progress and come all the way here. You see, the trick is to understand that everything that you want in life, everything that you've ever dreamed of, all the dreams and aspirations and the goals that you have, it's all there for you. See, I thought I knew, but the truth is I didn't. I hadn't even begun to scratch the surface of what was possible for me. And it took a lot of time, a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection to really realize like what is possible for my life. And I want you guys to do the same. Because whatever you came up with today, those are all the reasons of why you have confined yourself. I know it sounds weird, doesn't it? But if these are things that you truly want, and these are things that you think you can do in 10 years, you could have been doing them for the past 10 years. But why haven't you? And that's the real question. If you've had that want to finish that book, if you've had that want to launch that business, if you've had that want to create more time for yourself, why haven't you? And it comes down to why. It comes down to understanding why. Because when we can understand why, we can understand that there's an answer for it. When we don't see it, it'll never be clear for us. And when it was asked to me, I created something that I thought was my limitations. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I want to do that. And I realized that I'm limiting myself even in my dreams. It took time and a lot of creativity to understand that this vision that I'm building for myself, it's only limited by your dreams because you can't see what you can't see. You have to break down those walls that you have. You have to stop believing that I can only accomplish this because of what I do now. Because of the habits that I have, the routines that I keep, the friends that I maintain, the relationships that I participate in, this is what I will be able to accomplish in 10 years because of who I am. Today, let's break those walls. Let's think beyond what we even believe is possible. When I started this business, when I started this dream, this vision, I didn't imagine where I would be. But I know that one day I'll be in front of a stage speaking in front of 250,000 people talking about how I was able to change the veteran culture and the dynamic. Opening up for Brian Scoggins as he's coming up on stage next. Everything is an opportunity. Everything. I don't talk to myself in any fucking way that I wouldn't allow someone else to talk to me. I don't tell myself I'm overwhelmed. I don't tell myself that I have too much on my plate. I don't tell myself that I'm tired. I don't tell myself that this is too much for me. I don't tell myself that I can't do it. Because if you talk to yourself like that, then you don't need enemies. You have them right there with you. I tell myself this is an opportunity, not overwhelm. I have all this on my plate because I'm fucking hungry and I want more. I take on things in life because I'll be able to accomplish them because I have the bandwidth to do so. I am creating my life. And I will not be an unconscious creator, just going and flowing through life like a hot air balloon, not knowing what is next. When you're going through life, being unconscious about creating your life, this means that you're just going through the motions. You're chasing success, but feeling an internal void. Now, what are some of those signs? Number one, being stuck. You find yourself in ruts, unable to figure out why, and you procrastinate. This lack of action only deepens the rut. You're spinning your wheels, not understanding why you can't make forward movement, and you're making it harder for yourself to escape. You're stuck. Number two, blame and complaints. When things go wrong, it's easy to blame others and just complain about your situation, your circumstances. And it may not be your fault, but it is your problem. And doing that, the complaining, the moaning, the bitching, it doesn't solve anything. It's like screaming into a void, a dark abyss. Nothing will come from it. You'll feel good momentarily, but it doesn't change the situation. Number three, reacting, not responding. You find yourself consistently and constantly reacting to life rather than acting with intention and logically responding. You just sway with the wind, going whichever way the wind blows you as a hot air balloon, just floating through life. You are not logically responding, you are emotionally reacting. Number four, stagnation in progress. Life is all about expansion and growth in every area of it. And if you're not moving forward, you are moving backward, believe it or not. Inaction is action. The universe is constantly changing and evolving. Nature. Nature doesn't stand still. It gets colder. It gets warmer. Trees grow. And if you're not evolving with it, you are being left behind. Number 5, lack of self-belief. You might not see it yet, and maybe others see it in you, but you really are limitless. You weren't put on this earth to be mediocre. You were not put on this earth to just be complacent and live life as it is. You were not put on this earth to be realistic. You can achieve anything that you truly set your mind to. Why do you think people make fun of cliches? Why do you think people always love to make fun of others when they're doing better? Because the norm is mediocrity. The norm is allowing people to just get by because those failures that they experienced that were theirs, they can cast onto the world as this is just the way life is. Because if they don't own it, then it's not their fault. You have to own it and make it not your fault, but you're the reason why you won't fail. Make people uncomfortable. Who cares? They're going to judge, they're going to cast blame, they're going to say these things about you because you made them uncomfortable, because now you remind them of their failures. Because how the hell was Eric able to do it when I wasn't? How the hell is Andy able to move across the nation and get that federal job? Oh, he must know somebody. How the hell is Alex able to join this program and get his life better when, you know what? Everybody tries it, but they fail. How the hell was it that Steven actually finally committed to changing his life? But you know what? He's going to fail because that's just the way life happens. How is it that Jenny was able to move out of her own parents' place and get her own place at the mere age of 24? Oh, someone must have helped her. How is it that Heather has all this support from people, but yet she doesn't appreciate it, right? Well, you know what? It's because of her. Do you hear all these things? It's what people say when they don't want to give you that power. They're going to take it from you. And we can't allow that. However, it's not up to you to change their mind. It's up to you to be a motherfucking badass and keep doing the things that you're doing, because before you know it, you will leave them in your shadow. Success is the best revenge. You don't have to think about them. They don't matter. Number 6, creating reality unconsciously. Why settle for less when you can create the life that you dream of? Don't limit your vision to your current problems, to where you are currently at, to what you are currently capable of. Envision your life the way that you want it, with everything in it that you think is possible, and then go further. Because the same way that you are here right now, able to do more than you were last year, if you apply that to your future, you'll be able to do much more then than you think you even can do. Number 7, holding grudges and resentment. Holding on to negativity only poisons you, not the other person. It's like drinking the poison and waiting for the other person to die. Let go of that bitterness, that voice, that opinion, that person. To be honest with you, they don't matter as much as you think they do. And if you're worried about what people think about you and they judge you when you're trying, imagine what they think and what they'll judge you for when you're not trying. And in truth, they're not even judging you because they're not even thinking of you. Everyone is so wrapped up in their own world. So don't spend any more time thinking about them. Number 9, ignoring your health. Sorry, number 8. Your health is your wealth, and your mental overall health as well. Neglecting it for the sake of yourself, or you believe it's yourself when it's your family, when it's your business, when it's what you think you have to do for other people, you will realize that slowly and surely you will become that version of yourself that you never wanted to become, that you judged your parents for becoming, that you judged other people for becoming. And you will resent not just yourself for it, but your children, your wife, your friends, your job. Do not ignore your health. Number 9, your self-worth being tied to where you are currently at. Your worth is not tied to your current bank balance. Your worth is not tied to what you currently own or what you currently do for work. Your worth is not tied to any of those things. Your worth is tied to your actions, your character, the impact you have on others, the way that you treat that random person that you run into on the street, the willingness that you have to show up, not just for others, but for yourself. And number 10, lack of purpose. Without a clear purpose, you're just drifting. You need to find your own path, not just accept that what has been written for you is the things that's going to happen. Now, those are the signs of a 10 unconscious creators signs. And if you're living your life that way, before you know it, you will end up in a place that you never planned to be. Or the opposite. Because if you plan to be in a better place, then before you know it, you can't be there. Don't limit yourself. Don't be your worst enemy. Now, everything you wrote down today, whether you shared it or not, whether you were willing to share it or not, understand that it's powerful. And Alex, if you don't have anything in mind for yourself, this is that time. This is when you create it. This is when you realize that you have so much more left to do in this world. Now, the purpose of Vet Rise is not to talk endlessly about what we did in the military. The purpose of Vet Rise is to understand that we have much more left in this world to do, that we have many more chapters to write, and that we cannot hang our hats on the laurels of our past. I started throwing the word academy in there about a week ago. The Vet Rise Academy. Officially, it's Vet Rise LLC on paper, but unofficially, the Vet Rise Academy spoke to me. Because this is much more than just understanding that you're here to get your physical health and get some workouts and learn how to eat a little bit healthier. The purpose of all of this is to truly fucking escape the life that you've been living. I want you all to succeed so much that you don't need a coach in life, but you want one. I want you guys all to be able to look back 10 years from now and be absolutely amazed at everything you've accomplished. I say this often because it's one of the things that I've heard that is very true. And I heard Alex Hormozy say this on the Modern Wisdom podcast, but it's the magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And what does that mean to me? That all the things that you want from life, all of the ambitions that you tell yourself that you have, all of the goals and dreams and all of the wishes and plans that you want for yourself, they're just one decision away. That decision to put down the bottle on that Saturday night. That decision to wake up early on Monday morning and go to the gym before going to work. That decision to not buy that pack of cigarettes. That decision to throw away that vape pen. That decision to show up for these coaching calls. That decision to send me a message when you're struggling. That decision to say no to your mom when she tells you, just have one more torta. You're looking a little thin. That decision to understand that even though you have made some bad decisions, they mean nothing. In fact, they mean something good. Because when you make mistakes, you either win or you learn. And you have to learn how to learn, right? How do we learn from learning? Well, we learn from learning by understanding that every lesson, everything that you go through, every single situation that you find yourself in, if you can take something away from it, if you can realize this is the purpose of all of this, this is what I could have done, this is how I'm going to change from it, this is how I'm going to evolve from it, this is what I'm going to do differently, and actually fucking apply it, well then, God damn it, you learn more from your failures than you do from your wins. Because your wins, you're not going to reflect on them enough. Your wins are going to just be part of who you are. The fact that you went to the gym yesterday, you went to the gym, you did a workout, you came home, you ate the right foods, and then you went to bed. But if you missed the gym for the past 4 days and you haven't been eating right and you've been avoiding my messages and you actually take the time to stop, do you have any idea how much you can learn from that? Why am I placing myself last? Why do I keep driving through the drive-through and eating this food that I know is terrible for me, and then I hate myself afterwards? Why do I plop myself in front of the couch and watch TV and leave my phone across the room? Because every time I see a message from Coach JP, I feel uncomfortable. Why? Because you're not living your true life. Because it's not true to who you are. Because you know you can do so much more. That's the lesson there. So whatever you wrote down, whatever came to you, whatever you told yourself that you can do in 10 years, I want you guys to realize that is just the fucking tip of the iceberg. Because when you establish that clear purpose, when you establish your actual self-worth, when you no longer ignore your health, when you let go of the grudges and the resentments, when you actually create consciously, when you have the best self-belief you can have, when you remove the stagnation from your life and you actually evolve and move forward, when you respond logically without reacting emotionally, when you no longer blame and complain about the rest of the world and realize that it is your responsibility, when you avoid the feeling of being stuck and realizing that you have to stay in momentum, well, that is when you become that conscious creator. That is when you can create the best life that you want for yourself. Now, the homework I'm giving you guys, and I'm putting the responsibility on you. The onus is on you. It's between now and next Thursday to schedule. And that literally means to control your future, right? That's how you control your future. You schedule, put it in your calendar. If a map is what you use to navigate your environment, then a calendar is what you use to navigate your future. I truly fucking believe that with everything I have. You should see my calendar. Some of you have. Between now and Thursday, schedule a 30-minute session for yourself. And you review what you wrote down. And you aim for more. And you be unrealistic. And you believe that you have the capabilities of achieving so much more. Between now and next Thursday. And then I want you to record it. And I want you to save it on your phone somewhere where we can come back to it. Once you do this, once you accomplish this, once you set aside those 30 minutes and actually take the time to write out something a little bit more audacious, a little bit more absolutely out of this world of what you know you can do and the things you're going to accomplish. It's not about, I'll finish my book. It's, I'll be a freaking renowned author and David Goggins will be asking to be on my podcast. It's, I will have the wife of my dreams because I am the man of my dreams. And I am absolutely running the entire corporation that I've ever thought about doing. It's, I will be a principal or having 3 nonprofits or doing this, or I will have the job of my dreams. And what that job is actually fucking define it. I will be on stage in front of millions of people. I will have my own TED Talk. I will rub shoulders with people like Jocko, Joe Rogan. I will change the veteran culture. I will be able to change the way that veterans see their service. As they leave the service, it's no longer that last love they had that they keep running back to when they can't find that new love in their life, because that's the way that I've truly been thinking about it lately. I seek evolution every single day. My mind changes often. And the reason that is because nothing is permanent, everything is malleable, and we can keep learning and growing. I've learned so much from all of you. Now, this isn't your typical Thriving Thursday. Typically, I have slides and I go through things and you guys get some stuff out of it and maybe you apply it, maybe you don't. But I want you guys to fucking be present and be here right now in this moment and realize that you can make your future. So we're going to wrap this up today. And what I want to say is that whatever you're feeling right now, unless you capitalize on it, unless you stay in momentum, shit, if you want to do the 30-minute session right now, do it. And then record it and then save it somewhere where you can reflect on it. And once you do that, I'm going to post this video in the Facebook group and I want you to comment with the word, with whatever word comes up for you, whatever word you want to use for the next 10 years of your life. For me, the word has lately, it's been intentional. It was execute for a while, but the roughness, the logic behind the word kind of made me bring it back a little bit more to the emotional side of it. And I found the word intentional to be the word that stands out for me. Now, I know you guys have been writing comments in the chat. I haven't been reading them. Typically, I do, but today I wanted to be present right here with you guys talking on screen. So I apologize if there was something I missed. And I think we're going to wrap up like this. Typically, I let you guys come off mute and we have some words of affirmations, but honestly, I'm feeling moved just to wrap it up like this because I feel like everyone got something out of this. So I'm going to post a video and I would love if you guys took some time to do the assignment right now, but if you don't do it now, that's fine. Remember, the onus is on you. The responsibility is yours. And if you got some value out of today, I expect you guys to actually comment once the video is posted what your biggest takeaway is, because it's not just about posting it for me or for anybody else to read. It's about you. Because when you memorialize your thoughts, when you put them into words, when you actually type them out, they stick with you much longer. And you can reflect on them. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're still here and you're watching this on the replay, be intentional. Make the decision to change your life. Make the decision to do something about it. Don't just go through life being a hot air balloon. Control your life. Be in the driver's seat of your life. Good night, everyone.